Bet you weren't expecting this one, were you? Hello there, and welcome back to my reviews. And so today we'll be reviewing, of all things, Doraemon, the movie, Nobita's Sky Utopia. So, maybe something you probably didn't know about me is that I, growing up, going to school, I really enjoyed reading Doraemon. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of kids, a lot of Malaysian kids like me, also enjoyed those books, enjoyed those comics. They were a lot of them when they were. We got a lot of stories and a lot of little pocketbook volumes. They were written in Malay, so it helped us also to learn more Malay, and it certainly taught me bits. And yeah, I really enjoyed these stories. I mean, yeah, they're probably some people might view them as kids stories, but oh, what the hell! I really enjoyed those stories. Really enjoyed the characters, the adventures they went on, and yeah, and of course, I also remember all the, the kind of special books, the ones that were like, where it's like, one volume, and instead of multiple stories, it was just one big story that you could imagine was probably made into a movie, kind of like this one now here. So, in this movie, it starts off like a well, not exactly start off. I mean, if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But it starts off like a typical Doraemon adventure. Nobita is failing at school. He's getting bullied. He's failing at sports. You know, Doraemon is giving him crap because he just keeps running to him for their solutions to all the bad things that happens in his life, and then he's sitting on his own, pondering, wishing things were better and all that. And of course, that's where the adventure starts. They go on an adventure to look for this, as the title implies, a sky utopia. This city, or what is it, ship, town, whatever it was, in the sky. By traveling through time and space and all that. It's a whole thing. If you know the story, there's a lot of time traveling, flying around, and all kinds of weird gadgets that Doraemon pulls out of his pocket. But yeah, so they find this city, this utopia, where it's inhabited by a bunch of kids, led by these three elders. Even though they don't look like old men, but they're the three pillars of this utopia, the leaders and all and all that, and helps maintain and protects everyone and everything, the whole city with their technology. Yeah, so it's all inhabited by kids, and they seem all happy. They're well behaved. They're all good students. They're all pretty much what Nobita thinks he wants to be. But of course, as with every story that features a kind of utopian society, you're always waiting for that other shoe to drop to reveal. Okay, so this is supposedly a perfect society, but what is the underlying, seedy, sinister thing that they're gonna reveal that actually makes this utopia a supposed perfect society? Like, what are they, what are they actually taking away? Are they taking away free will? Are they brainwashing these people? Are they, killing people who disrupts the peace of the society? You're waiting for one of those things. It happens in every story featuring utopian society, and this one is no different. But what I will say is that, in this movie, when they get into the issues with this utopian society, they don't do it in the typical, like, obvious way that you would expect it. It actually, first, it happens very slowly, very gradually, as Nobita starts to realize that, as he realizes that he can't really be like all these perfect little children, and he starts to quietly realize, like, how it's also changing, his friends, who they also progress into being some of these perfect children. But then he starts to wonder, what are they sacrificing? What are they, giving up in order to become these kinds of children? And of course, that leads them, of course, into more revelations as to, the big villainous thing going on behind the scenes that forms the foundation of the society. So yeah, that to me was very interesting, the way they handled that at the start. Even though there were, of course, they show you there's some very clear villainous things going on behind the scenes that they hint to throughout And and then it progresses to the typical anime stuff. They reveal the villain and his big whole world in a impacting agenda. There's the big fights and high emotions. Appealing to friends and their hearts, appealing to their souls and all the usual big just exaggerated just they go big with the emotions and actions and the animation's great, of course, just like all these anime movies, but we tend to expect this from anime movies. And for some reason we always, even though it touches on familiar elements, familiar tropes, as this movie does, certainly, even though I said the way they do some of it was a little interesting, but you know as I say, they do a lot of very familiar things, and yet because of the way they handle them, either because of they have great conviction in what they're doing, or they just they really nail down the heart and the emotions of these familiar tropes in order to get you to feel, in order to relate, to appeal, just that sweet spot where you understand the why and the how and all that, and you're really rooting for the heroes to succeed, and all these feelings that they're feeling, you also feel them too. Either because of one of these things, they somehow make all this work, even though a lot of it does kind of feel familiar, and that's the kind of thing that a lot of these anime films tend to do. But we fall for it every time because they just somehow make it happen. They just, even though you've seen some of these things a million times before, they make you feel like you're seeing it for the first time. You get swept up into the emotion and the action. It's the same thing with this, and the same thing with this movie. They just they just do it so well. And as I said, it is in a sense also very thought provoking. When you have a story about a utopian society, it's going to touch on a lot of themes. Free will. What are we sacrificing in order to create this kind of perfect society and all that? And so in addition to the excitement, there's also some thought-provoking elements in this, and so it makes the whole thing very enjoyable. And I think not just kids but also adults can get something out of this as well. Even though you look at it and you think it's like just a corny kids movie, and in some ways it is, but it is also very very emotional, and in some ways very very thought-provoking, intellectual. It touches on some interesting ideas. So yeah, if you get the chance to see this movie, go check it out. And if it makes you into a Doraemon fan, then all the better. I'm like, as I said, I really do enjoy the series, and you should probably go seek out those books or give them to your kids and let them read it, especially if you're Malaysian. Yeah, go right ahead. Go find this movie, watch it, and maybe seek out more books. So yeah, so that's my review, and look out for more. See you in the next one. Goodbye.